Hello, everybody. David Anderson here, and excited to be on the air again for a Porsche Cup race, and super excited to be back in this series. We are at Spa, and we're going to start off a tremendous run here of three races within 30 days in this series to wrap up our championship for 2023. And the cars are out on the track qualifying right now. We're riding along with Brian Sohn out on his outlap for qualifying, and we'll start to take a look at some of the laps come in and some of the drivers as they get laps on the board to set the grid here tonight. And have what should be a really, really good race. Here's Tristan Martz that we see on the track, one of the championship contenders. He will be racing quite closely today, I'm sure, with Michael Parker, and we can see here's Michael as well. They are on timed laps right now, so we should start seeing some times come in for these drivers as we get into Sector 3 here on the track. So we'll actually kind of stay with Michael here and see if he puts a lap in right here. He's going to come around the final chicane, should be coming through to the timing line. We'll see kind of what time this is. This could be, I believe that was an out lap. So we'll go flying with Michael here on this lap and watch him set a qualifying lap for us. And while we do that, I will bring you all up to speed on where we are in the series in general and how things are looking coming into this race. So again, this is race number 6 of 8. This particular series is our official support series for the iRacing Team Endurance Series Championship. So races typically will correspond with the larger endurance racing event that we have at the same track the following week. So that is the case with this round. We have this race today, and then we have next week the multi-class race at the same track. The series also has 2 standalone events. One of them we have already run, and the next one will be a few weeks from now at Road America. So for a total of 8 races on the season. As far as the championship goes, this gentleman that we're riding along with is our championship leader, Michael Parker. He has been quite dominant in the series through 5 races. He has 3 victories so far and has really shown an amazing capability to wrangle this Porsche Cup car. But it's not over yet. Tristan Martz is about 15 points behind him. Tristan also has a series win as well. And Blake Reynolds currently 3rd in points. Unfortunately, it does not look like Blake is here on the server this morning, so that will hurt his chances as far as the championship goes. Brian Sabelski is in 4th position in the points, Edward Nelson in 5th, and then some really good position battles all the way down. And most importantly, still 3 races to get a win in this thing. To finish your season strong. All right, here comes Michael. We'll see kind of what he's able to do here. This is going to be his first time. And it looks like he does go right to the top of the leaderboard. Brian Sabelski also has a time. Let's get on with Tristan Martz. Here's Tristan Martz. We're really interested in him as well. Tristan currently in 4th position in qualifying. Let's ride along on here if we can with him for a minute. Watch him go down here to a Rouge. Everybody on their second of 2 laps. I've got to think that generally speaking, you're going to get your faster of your 2 laps probably on the first lap here at Spa. But you never know. Somebody could get another lap in. That is a little bit faster on the second one. You get just 2 laps for the qualifying in this series. Provisionally right now we've got Michael Parker, our championship points leader, on the pole with a 221.115. Edward Nelson, who is also contending for a podium spot on the championship with a 222.533. David Nelson in 3rd, Mark Johnson 4th, Gabriel Bono in 5th. Interestingly enough, Miguel Colon has not laid down a lap yet. Miguel, last season's champion, so I'll have to see if I can figure out what's going on there as we ride here with Christian. We're going to go ahead and just stay on here with Christian, see if he can improve his position from 6th place up a little bit higher on the grid. I know he'd like to be a little bit higher. And I will also mention that we have a tremendous sponsor here in the series, Brian Sohn and his team from Penguin RC Simulation. They are the title sponsor for both the Porsche Cup Series as well as our iRacing Team Endurance Series. And even though Michael has a pretty good lead and pretty comfortable lead and kind of showing that he's the ace of the field here, there are prizes available to all of our podium finishers from Penguin RC. So these podium spots and the battles that are happening for these podium spots are really, really important in the grand scheme of things for these guys to take down some of the really nice prizes from Penguin. All right, here comes Tristan. He's going to come across the line here. Wide exit. And he does not improve. In fact, falls down to 7th position. Here's Miguel Colon. Miguel without a lap yet. I'm curious to see what's happening here. May have just been late to the party as far as getting out and qualifying. Still has plenty of time to get the lap in. There's 2 minutes left in the session. See if he's able to get up there and give Michael Parker a run for that pole. I think if anybody left on the track, David Nelson is still on the track as well. David with a really, really fast lap, a 2:22.671. Currently got David in 3rd position. But I don't know that David will better that, so Miguel is probably our best chance if we're going to see somebody get up on the front row. Currently, right now on the front row, we've got Michael Parker and Edward Nelson, but we'll see if Miguel's able to get up there and have something to say about this as he comes through Blanchimont. Really hung out there. Again, Miguel, I know he wants a win. He's not had a win yet this season, whereas last season he was quite dominant, won the championship. And here he comes to the timing line. His time is going to be only good enough for 9th position, a 2:23.192. So that is uncharacteristic for Miguel and not the lap he was wanting. So he's definitely going to have his work cut out for him. And that is certainly going to have Michael Parker, I believe, in the best chance to get the fast start that he wants in this thing. So Miguel just kind of taking every moment he has to get a little bit more time on the track, because probably not too happy with that lap. And while he does that, we'll go ahead and set up, because we're about to go to the grid here. And total of 12 competitors today in the race, and I expect it to be a really good race, lots of positions. And some of the ones I'll be following is not just who's up front in the battle for the win, of course, but I really kind of want to watch these guys. Tristan Martz, unfortunately Blake Reynolds is not here. It does not look like today. He's currently in 3rd position, so we could see Brian Sabelski, Edward Nelson. Those guys are separated by 11 points right now. Joe Stifel, these are, Mark Johnson. These are all guys that are going to have something to say about that last podium spot. And again, with Penguin RC, there is money to be paid, in the form of prize money and credit to their tremendous organization. They make some great sim racing products for those that are able to be in the podium. We'll also have a trophy for our champion winner, of course. from CMS, and more importantly than anything, bragging rights. So, all right, here we go. They're about to get going here. Race is an evening race, which is a little bit different for this series. Normally we see these races start kind of earlier in the day, if you will. But start time here is 7 p.m. local time. We've got a 30-minute race. Pace car pulls off. Michael Parker will lead the field down. He's already, you can tell, just eager to go here and wants to get down there and get that lead over Edward Nelson on the outside pole, or outside front row if he can, going down into La Source. So Michael with a great start. They fan out 3 wide coming down the front stretch. Edward's going to make a run at it, goes wide. Mark Johnson behind him kind of follows in there. Michael has that nice tight line, and he is off to the races. Clean start behind, everybody off to a really, really good start. Michael leads them all the way up here through Blanchimont. Eau Rouge. And they are down the stretch now. And there's a pass for Michael's off the track. Edward Nelson takes the lead. Mark Johnson goes to second position. So Michael had a poor exit out of Eau Rouge. Lost the lead all the way down to third position. Edward Nelson takes that lead. And Mark Johnson, quite a racer of himself, in second place for the Longhorn Racing Team. He and Mike Tyler both here from the Longhorn team today. Mike back in 10th position currently. Oh, Edward spins. He's around. Hard into the wall. Hard into the wall. That is going to be not good for him and not what he wanted to see. Just too much there. Cold tires. And I got to think he's bringing that in for a fast repair. That has allowed Mark Johnson to get out to the lead here. Michael Parker all over the back of him here, but let's see if Mark's got something to say about it. Beautiful paint scheme, and Michael already just not wanting to. Oh, and Mark has to lift. Michael just stuck it in there hard on him and goes right back to the lead. Gabriel Albano now up to third position. Oh, we got a car off. That is Albano. Just too hard into that final chicane. Really pushing. These guys want the track position. Disappointing for him. Michael Parker, though, really making a statement there as they went through Blanchimont. He just got along Mark Johnson and just said, no, I'm not going to not lead this first lap. And now he is off to the races. Meanwhile, back behind him, David Nelson now has gotten around Mark Johnson. So Mark Johnson, Miguel Colon also around Mark Johnson. So Mark Johnson now is struggling. Still trying to recover. Miguel Colon all the way up to third position. He's behind David Nelson. And will probably look to make a move as soon as he possibly can. Let's ride along board here with Miguel as he follows David in his canary yellow Porsche. Beautiful color on that car. Always looks good on a Porsche, especially here at Spa. Meanwhile, Michael, just ahead of these guys, you can see him off in the distance, has driven away to a 2.6 second lead now. And Miguel, if he's going to have anything from Michael, he's going to have to get quickly around David here. Here he goes. Sticks it in there on the outside, makes the pass. So Miguel, not with a great qualifying run, but he is certainly fast. Mark Johnson has fallen back to 4th. It looks like Edward Nelson may have retired, unfortunately. And that is not going to be good for Edward in that 5th position in points right now. That's going to open the door for maybe Joe Stifle, Mark Johnson, some of these other guys to kind of get in on things. Let's take a look at Joe Stifle, actually. He's here in the race. Here's Joe in a positional battle right now, trying to go around Brian Sabelski. These guys are actually battling for that podium position in the points. A little bit of a lockup, car off, back in the chicane. Look like Brian Sohn. Let's watch this here. Here's Brian. He goes down into the chicane and I think just overcooks it. He sure did. Just kind of overcooked the chicane. And so now we're back live. So, wow, some excitement here to start this thing. Parker has managed to get out to about a 4-second lead after all of that. But we are battling like crazy here behind him. And I think that brings up a good time for a field rundown. Looks like Miguel Colon is off and maybe out. What has happened to Miguel Colon? I'm seeing Miguel Colon, unfortunately, looks like maybe we lost him with a disconnect. Oh, how unfortunate for Miguel. I don't see any on-track issue, so he must have had a disconnect. And we lost him here, unfortunately, in the race, and that's allowed Parker to get out to the commanding lead he has. So here we go. We're going to do a full field rundown here. We're going to start with this man, Michael Parker, and talk about what he's doing, looking to get another win here. He's had, this would be at least 2 in a row, maybe more than that. He's got 3 wins on the season, and boy, he is off to the races here. 5-second lead, lost the lead, and you could tell that miffed him. And just kind of decided going through Blanchimont at the end of the first lap, he had the pace. He was just not going to let Mark Johnson keep that lead for long. Speaking of Mark, back up after his bobble, he is back up to 2nd position here. So this is an important run for Mark because Mark is just outside that podium as far as points go, and we could see him make a late season push if anybody can do it and is has the racecraft, the pace, all the things needed to maybe even get a win in these last couple of rounds. A little bit deep entry for Mark there into the chicane. Looked like he overdrove it a little bit there, pushing a little bit, trying to see what he can do to keep these guys behind him and at least kind of keep himself in the equation with Michael. But Mark will settle down, and expect him to be pretty hard to get around here in this 2nd place. David Nelson having a tremendous run in 3rd position here in the Canary Yellow car. And, David, not really a points contender. He's back in 12th position in the points. Has made 4 out of the 5 races, so has been a regular in the series, but has had a little bad luck in a few of the events. And podium hero today, though, would go a long way towards making him feel really good. Saw David on the practice server yesterday, turning some laps, so you can tell this is a race that he wanted to be at and is taking seriously. And you can see just right here in the mix behind him, we've got Brian Sabelski and James Andrews. Really solid run for James Andrew, who we've not talked about yet today, in 5th position. That's the 3rd of these 3 cars here that we're chasing, kind of the aqua-colored green and white teacup, and this is Brian Sabelski that he's chasing. So here's James. Really strong battle here between really these 4 cars. They're not separated by much at all. All 4 of these cars kind of running pretty similar lap times their last time by, 22s, 23s. Michael Parker was down into the 21s, so Michael just kind of in a class of himself. And then we go a little bit further back, 6th position, 7th position here. Nice battle going on here as well. This is Gabriel Bono. We saw Gabriel was up front there for a minute. Looked like he might have something to say about the podium. but then had an issue, and that sent him back here a little bit to the back part of the field. Mike Tyler off to a solid start in 7th position, and then 8th position here. This is a little bit surprising and somewhat disappointing for Tristan Martz. Tristan in 8th position right now did not qualify well, and this is a race winner. He won the Le Mans race. Currently our 2nd place guy in the points, and he is really wanting around Mike Tyler here. This is a battle for position. Mike locking it up. Tristan going to go inside of him, and he's around him. Joe Steifel as well is going to take advantage of Mike Tyler and get around there as well. This is on board with Tristan Martz. There they all go. So you can see Tyler here now 3rd in that line, and it looks like Joe Steifel has a little bit of damage on the front of his car. So not sure exactly what happened there. I think I do have a replay. Let's go back and watch this. Here it is. Oh. Not good for Joe. Just lost it. That is the cause of the damage there for him. So we're now on board again with Mike Tyler as he is chasing these two. Really good to see Mike here in the race. Mike, good personal friend of mine, also a just strong ambassador and supporter of CMS. It's West Coast for him, so this is fairly early on a Sunday. But I know Mike just loves these cars, and it's great to see him out here when he can join us. Not a contender in the points, and but here nonetheless to have some fun. Brian Sohn, who we saw had the lockup a little bit earlier, in 10th position, and then Miguel Colon is back on the server and was a lap down or more here, it looks like, because he lost connection, I believe. I'm showing him, still showing him on the lead lap. That could be wrong. I'll look for that data to update, but he is back on the server. I've got to think that was a disconnect. So that's kind of what's happening there. Some of our best battles here on the track. We'll get back, check in on our leader here in a minute, but we've got Mark Johnson up ahead of these two. But this is probably the most exciting battle up front right now. This is Brian Sabelski, James Andrew. Seems like I remember at Twin Ring Motegi, these guys having a battle as well. Oh, and look at this. James has a run. He's got a run, and he's around Brian and up into the 3rd position here. Nice pass. So James able to keep the hammer down going through a Rouge and Radeon there, and Brian obviously had to lift or come out of it a little bit, and that allowed James to get the draft that he needed, and James up to 3rd position now in the race. So James also had a fairly good run at Twin Ring Motegi, if I remember correctly, and so coming on strong here. Currently in 8th position in the points. He moved up 3 positions in the last race with that run at Motegi, and has an outside shot at that podium, that 3rd podium position we're talking about. It would take a lot, but this is a guy that he's got to finish ahead of for certain for that to happen, because that is the man in that position right now, is Brian Sabelski. But he's ahead of the 2 guys, 2 of the 3 guys that are in those positions right now. He's ahead of Brian by a position on the track, and he's ahead of Tristan Martz. So let's check in on Tristan again. Looks like he's recovered a little bit and doing a little bit better now. He's up to 6th position, so moving forward. And lap times are coming down. He ran a 2:22.5 last time by. All right, let's check in on our leader. Here's Michael Parker. We're going to watch him go around the track on a lap here. Here he goes. Let's just watch what makes this guy so fast. I'm going to just let you all enjoy it here for a little bit. Eight-second lead right now. Watch him go down through a Rouge. Beautiful line. Really gives it up appropriately through here. Uses every inch of the track. See him on these rumble strips. This is how it's done, folks. How smooth his hands are. Very minimal input. Just lets the car drive itself. And just a master at hitting the apex. And a tremendous guy to boot. Believe from Michael, I think I'm mistaken. I was going to say this would be his first championship at CMS, but I think he actually may have a GT3 Wednesday night iRacing championship under his belt already. I'm pretty sure that's the case. But this has certainly been a season in these Porsche Cup cars that he will be able to be really, really proud of. Because I believe, if I am not mistaken, that in his championship for the GT3 cars, the way he achieved it was just running up front, lots of podium finishes and top 5 finishes, but I don't think he had a win, and I know he really wanted one. Whereas in this series, he's got not only a win, he's got several wins, and on en route here to perhaps his 4th, and he is stinking it up for sure. You can see Mark Johnson just now coming into the picture behind him. Here's Mark, and Mark, still unable to fully break away from these guys behind him. You can see Albano. There's Martz in the picture back there. Here they all come down the front stretch here. Everybody kind of taking a wide exit off that final chicane. We ride back along here with our second place man, Tristan Martz, and it looks like Tristan has possibly got something for Gabriel Albano. See if he can make a run down here through a Rouge and up through Radion and down the Kimmel Straight. I am showing Miguel Colon about 1:45 seconds behind the leader. So Miguel was able to stay on the lead lap. It looks like he was I was showing him as disconnected, but it looks like maybe just had a pit stop. We do have 2 retirements from the race already. Edward Nelson, who we saw with the bad accident early, and then Brian Sohn has also parked as well in the race. Stay on board here with Tristan Martz just a little bit longer. Doesn't look like he's really eating into that lead of Albano ahead of him. Let's check in on Miguel Colon again. Car looks clean. Not seeing any issues with the car. Looks clean front and rear here. So not sure what happened there. We'll have to see if we can't get an update. One of the better battles going on the track right now. We've got David Nelson, Mike Tyler here in a pretty good battle. This is David all over the back of Mike. David was up quite high early and fell back, had some trouble with a couple of laps that were inconsistent, and this is a pretty good battle here. You can tell David really, really wants around Mike. He's going to look to make the move here. This is for 9th position. Or 8th. Oh, and Tyler is off. Feels the pressure and sends it down in there a little too hard into the chicane. And David is back around him. Remain with a pretty close battle here. This is Brian Sabelski who we're on board with again here now, and that's James Andrew ahead of him. This is, again, has been kind of the closest battle in the race, and these two have been good about putting on a show for us. 2 races in a row now that these two guys have put down the show. We saw earlier the move made by Andrew to get around Sabelski. We'll see if Sabelski can repay the favor. Or redo the deed. We've got about 4 or 5 laps left in the race, about 9 minutes left in the race. So these races do go by quickly. They're 30 minutes. And again, if you're not familiar with the series and you tune in to watch either live or on the replay, this is our official support series for what we call iRacing Team Endurance Series. And you'll see the iRTES logo for short down in the bottom left-hand corner of the stream. That is the flagship endurance series that CMS runs. It's a multi-class series, 3-hour races. All the races are broadcast by Apex Sim Racing TV. Lots of sponsorship and prizes, and it's just kind of a big deal for us. And then these, that's multi-class. We've got the LMDH cars, the LMP2 cars, and the GT3s all together. And the week prior, at the tracks that they run on, we do the support series races. So this is the single class fixed setup. I should have mentioned that these are fixed setup races in these Porsche Cup cars. So everybody is using exactly identical equipment and setup. Can't make any changes other than little things like brake bias and steering angle and that type of thing. But the idea of these is to have that support series and kind of model some of the real life stuff, get the guys out here that want to participate in it, and get a little bit extra track time at each one of these events. And then they also have 2 standalone events. We had one earlier in the season already on the calendar, and then we have another one coming up in 3 weeks where the series will run on its own. Those 2 standalone events this year were Laguna Seca back in March and Road America in 3 weeks at as a standalone event. So, but really great racing, really close, and I personally love the opportunity to bring it to you and put it onto you. And this is, kind of remaining with these guys. This is our best battle on the track. Kind of these 3-4 cars together. Tristan Martz, and Tristan Martz is off right as I say that. He's off and into the wall, and this is not going to be good for him. Oh boy, all the progress he had made so much progress. It doesn't look like he hit anything hard, so probably more than anything just hurt his ego here. But he is certainly not having the race he wanted or needed to have. He's certainly, especially with Michael Parker leading the race, he's going to fall further behind in the points and to Michael, which is going to make it pretty dang hard to catch Michael as fast as he is. Michael now with a 15-second lead in the race. But what I think more importantly that's happening is he's starting to let, with Blake Reynolds being out today, that's going to move him down. It's going to start to let Brian Sabelski, I would have said Ed Nelson, but Ed had a DNF. So I think Brian Sabelski, Joe Steifel, Mark Johnson, James Andrew, Miguel Colon, all those guys are going to come back into the picture here. Obviously, Miguel having a tough race with a disconnect, So maybe not so much for him. But Mark Johnson, who we ride along here with, Mark is absolutely going to benefit from this. He's in P2, so only one car he's behind. And boy, you can see Mark is really, even though 15 seconds behind the leader, he is really moving and driving really great. And then that battle behind him is the one that I have been paying attention to. It looks like Gabriel Albano going to maybe try to make a move here to get on board. He has caught Brian Sabelski. About 2 or 3 laps left. I have a feeling this is where we need to stay, folks. This is the battle. There's also a really good battle going on with Tristan Martz and David Nelson behind this. I'll try to pay a little attention to that as I can, but for the better part of this lap, I want to see here if these guys, it looks like James Andrews struggling a little bit all of a sudden. They've reeled him back in. Albano looks strong. And a shout out to Gabriel. I want to thank him for being in the series. A recent CMS champion. Won our Pro-Am division, hitting his windshield wipers here a little bit. Won our Pro-Am division on the Wednesday night GT3 Sprint Series, which was just tremendous accomplishment for him. And leveled up to the Pro division after that accomplishment this season. But showing that he belongs here at the front of these fields. 5th position. This is a pretty, not a huge field here today, but a strong field. A lot of really accomplished drivers in this race. Guys like James Andrew, Brian Sabelski, Mike Tyler, even, these guys are kind of spread throughout the field. Of course, Mark Johnson, Michael Parker, I could go on and on. These are real heavy-duty sim racers. And so for Gabriel to be out here and holding his own with them is impressive. And Gabriel, a newer member of CMS, within the last... and Sabelski is off. Overcooks it. Let's rewind that. I'm just going to rewind this live, and let's just see what happened to Brian. He just felt the pressure. We saw this happen with Tyler earlier. Locked it up. And he loses that position. All right, let's check in on the battle right here. Tristan Martz, Joe Stifle. This is not quite as close. David Nelson in this one as well. These guys are strung out a little bit more, but this is Stifle going down to a Rouge. Just behind him is Martz, and just behind him is Nelson. So this battle is not quite as close, so I'm not going to spend as much time on it right now as I will on this one. But I tell you who benefited most from that situation was James Andrew with Sabelski going off, because James has now kind of got a little bit of breathing room, about 1.5 seconds on Albano. But we're going to continue to ride with Albano here and see if he's got anything to say about this. Looking at lap times, Albano, one of the fastest cars on the track. He has had the 2nd fastest lap time in the race to Michael Parker. And looking at his last lap, a little bit slower than James Andrew, actually. But he was in that battle with Sabelski, so I want to see kind of what they're able to do on this lap, and if he's eating into this at all with Andrew in that podium position. James Andrew, really impressive kind of back half of the season here. Nothing has changed out front. Michael Parker continues to be the leader by 18 seconds over Mark Johnson. Mark is in second. I will make sure that we get focused on Michael as he gets a white flag here. And I think he will get it. We'll start to call everyone home. But I think Michael probably getting a white flag this time by. So once we cross the line here... Oh, and he's off! Albano is off, and that's going to allow Sabelski to get back around him. There you can see Sabelski. The chicane is just killing these guys. So now Sabelski back into that position. All right, on his final lap here, I believe, Michael Parker. Wow. What more do I say about this guy? I mean, there is nobody in sight right now. we saw him start from the pole, got the lead going down into La Source. They went up through Rouge and Radion. He had trouble, lost the lead, fell all the way back to third position. And I kid you not, we did not get back to the start-finish line, or actually through Blanchimont, and he went in there and just made it known that that was not going to be the case, and he was not going to be behind these guys, and just made the bold and strong move on Mark Johnson to get around, and almost, almost like that rattled Mark a little bit. There was, I mean, it was an aggressive move, but it was clean. And Mark just, Michael had the line. Mark had to get out of it. It was almost like that affected Mark. And, great recovery on Mark's part, back into second place after all of that. But still, just a dominating performance here. And going for a second win in a row. He's had quite a few victories, so we're going to see him come around here to bring it home. Our man Michael Parker going through the final chicane. And here he is, folks, taking another win, his fourth of the season in the P Cup as he gets the checkered flag, and he is super happy about that. Here comes Mark Johnson. Second, I'm going to call all these guys in all the way through the top 10. Mark coming through a tremendous run for Mark. Great job for Mark Johnson. Really proud of him for the effort. He bounced back after that early battle. P2, big day for him in the podium. Here comes James Andrew in third position. Brian Sabelski will be in fourth. Gabriel Bono holds on for a top 5. Joe Stifel behind him, and Tristan Martz. Here they both come in 6th and 7th position. Little bit further back, coming through the final chicane now, Mike Tyler able to hold off David Nelson with a P8 finish, so solid run for Mike. Here's David Nelson, and then unfortunately he will finish on the lead lap, but let's just ride with him here as he comes through the final set of corners. Had some technical difficulty. This is Miguel Colon, last season's champion. Did not have the day he wanted. It's unfortunate because I think he was going to be really, really, really quick. But technical gremlins, which are no different than mechanicals, happen in these races. But you know what? Kudos to Miguel. He got back out here, realizing that every point, every lap matters, and he wanted to finish the race. And he's going to do just that. He's going to bring this thing home in 10th place. Almost a full lap behind everybody by the time he sorted out his technical issues. And I'm showing that he was on pit road. Here he comes. And he'll get the finish. There you go. Way to go, Miguel. Nice finish to get to 10th position after battling through all that trouble. About as good as you could possibly do. What a race. So to wrap it up, we've got Michael Parker in first, his 4th win on the season. Mark Johnson in 2nd. James Andrew in 3rd. Brian Sabelski in 4th. Gabriel Bono 5th. Joe Stifel 6th. Tristan Martz in 7th. Mike Tyler 8th. David Nelson 9th. Miguel Colon in 10th. Brian Sohn in 11th, and Edward Nelson in P12 to wrap things up here at the 6th of 8 rounds in the Porsche Cup Series, and just a tremendous series. Really, really excited about it. Hopefully I'll be able to get one or two of the guys in here for an interview, and while we wait to see if they show up in the paddock area chat, just again take this opportunity to thank our sponsors, Penguin RC, of course the iRacing Team Endurance Series, and everyone that comes out and makes these races what they can be. And again, we talked about Penguin RC. We will have a tremendous prize package available to them. First and foremost, we'll have a trophy available for the champion at the end of this thing. presented by CMS, and we'll also have some gift cards as well for the winners from CMS. So we'll have a $20 iRacing gift card for third place, $30 for second place, $50 for first place, and then they will also get store credit through Penguin RC as well uh, in the opportunity that they want to blow some money there. So, all right, I am going to bring in, if I can, Michael Parker to the broadcast area. Let's see if I've got him down here at all. I thought I may need to drag him down here. Score. Here we go. We meet again.
Hey, David, how's it going?
I tell you, man. Tell me what happened on the first lap there, Michael. You lost the lead coming up through Radeon, and boy, I could tell whatever happened there, and I didn't see it live, but it obviously put you in a mood to where you decided going through Blanchimont you were not going to not lead that first lap. So take me through that.
Yeah, no, I got a bad run up there because I knew the car on cold tires is very tricky going through Eau Rouge, um, and I just misjudged the line a little bit, and I didn't want to get a slowdown, so I just gave it up and left it in fifth gear, and I already knew Ed and
Mm-hmm.
Mark would get the run. What I wasn't expecting though was Ed to kind of pinch me off the track. So I don't think he did it intentionally. I think he thought he cleared me. I just wanted to block my line in the inside, but he didn't. Like if I wouldn't have like gone onto the grass, I would have. We
Yeah,
would have.
I saw
Yeah.
that, and you
So,
had a little bit of a grass excursion there. Nice job hanging on to it. And then, unfortunately for Ed, not too long after that, he had a hard crash into the
yeah.
wall and ended up with a DNF. And then I tell you what, Michael, I thought Mark Johnson was going to, once he could get out front, Mark is quite the sim racer, but you made quick work of him, which I think is what you needed to do. And bold move on your part down into Blanchimont, and he had to give right away to you. And from that point, you set your sails forward and never looked back.
Oh yeah, yeah. Going through Blanchimont, it wasn't intentional on Mark. Again, cold tires. I understeered heavily, so I was trying to give him room, but I was like, nope, it's not going to work. So yeah, unfortunately, because it looked like I didn't get that good of a run on him, so I thought he was kind of like I don't know, just preparing to do an over under or something. So he's kind of lifting off a little bit. At least that's what it seemed like because I didn't think I got a that good of a run on him. But I was like, well, he's leaving it open, so I'll try to fit it in here. But yeah, on the first lap, it was a difficult move on the inside. So yeah, it definitely wasn't intentional.
Yeah, it's
uh,
definitely that's definitely a tricky area to get through, especially on cold tires and early. But you made it work, and for a minute there, I could tell it rattled him, and I talked about it on the show. It was certainly a clean move, no contact, and set him back a little bit though. It was almost like he had to recover from that mentally, and he did then, and had a great run back and finished in P2. So, man, I tell you, Michael, kind of starting to feel pretty good about your chances here, I would think. Obviously, you still got a little bit of work to do and don't want to take
yeah.
anything for granted, but you got to feel pretty good about where you're standing right now in this series.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely excited for the last two races. I mean, you even with being in the lead, I never like take it for granted. Like these cars are like one blink and you'll lose it, and that'll be that. So it was unfortunate because I saw Miguel was made it up through the field from a qualifying. He didn't end up getting a good position, but yeah, I was figuring he was gonna catch and we would have had a battle, but then I saw his internet drop, so I was like, man.
Yeah,
But
and luckily he was able to get back in quickly and stayed on the lead lap even. But yeah, disappointing that happened. He did, and he just didn't have the qualifying he needed. But he definitely looked like he was going to have a a strong race too. But yeah, I tell you what, they're like you said, you can't take it for granted. Anything can happen in these races, and you want to try to win them all. And that'll when you get that trophy, should that happen, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. It'd be a nice one to look back and think of all those wins.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this is one series I can actually say that. The other ones are definitely, the competition is insane. Even this one. It's just unfortunately a few of the others weren't able to show up today, but yeah, it was still it wasn't easy.
Yeah. Well, I'm proud of you. I know we're going to see a lot of you at Spa here. I'm sure we'll see you next week on the iRTES race, and then, or hope we do. And then
Yep.
at 24 Hours of Spa, I know you'll be driving one of our cars. And, dude, I just can't wait to see you in person soon, hopefully, one of these days.
Yeah.
It's been too
Yeah.
long.
It has been. I hopefully can make it to Texas end of this year, or early next.
Yeah, and
We'll
would
see.
would be good to coordinate where we could all get out for lunch or something. But just really proud of you, man, and love to see everything you're doing here, and uh, it makes me smile.
Yeah, definitely. I'm proud to be a part of Champion Motorsports, and thanks to the sponsor of this one, Penguin RC. And yeah, it was fun. Can't wait till the next one.
All right, buddy. Have a good rest of your Sunday, and thanks for stopping by.
All right, will do. You too. Thanks, David.
All right, bye bye. All right, let's see if I can get Mark Johnson down. Uh, broadcast air. Hey, my friend, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. How are you?
I'm good. Good run there. I tell you what, Michael got in there. I thought for a minute you were going to have something for him, and I just talked to him about it. I want to hear from you too. He had a bad run, lost the lead to you guys, and but boy, going through Blanchimont, he put it in there and was just like, nope, I am not going to not lead this first lap. And tell me what was going on in your mind when that went down.
Yeah, I almost wanted to jump on voice chat and say, "Hey, Michael, let me lead a lap, and then you can have the rest. Let me just get through the chicane and lead, and then I'll let you go," because I knew I didn't have anything for him based on practice. I knew he was, at minimum probably half a second a lap faster. So I knew where I was. But so going into Blanchimont, I was a little surprised. I knew he got a good run on me, and he got alongside, and I kind of made a mistake because once he got inside, well before turn in, I thought, okay, I'm just going to back off and let him go. And kind of used to driving cars with a little more downforce, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing because he was so far inside, he had to back off a lot too to make sure he was going to make the corner. So I backed off and was just going to kind of turn in behind him, and went to turn in, and he was still there. So I didn't want to hit him, so I jumped off, and that gave me a slowdown going that
Okay, I
wide.
was wondering because then you lost a few positions and had to go
Yeah,
back.
yeah, I
Yeah.
had to have guys come back by me. So it was only a 1 second slowdown, and I bled off all but like a tenth into La Source, and that was kind of my mistake. I should have gotten it done before La Source, because then the run down to Eau Rouge, I had to sit there and kind of pedal it a little bit to get that slowdown, that last 1/10 to clear. So that gave a couple of the guys a run on me. But I think I can't remember if it was one of the Nelson boys. We were battling there for a little while,
Yeah, that was
and I think he must have had a mistake because I saw him jump off my relative at one point. But from there, I just kind of managed the gap behind. It looked like James Andrews was kind of holding station with me, and so I just kind of maintained his gap. I know in these cars, for
mm-hmm,
me, the biggest opportunity for a mistake is when I start to push
mm-hmm.
too hard, and so I kind of just thought, all right, I'm going to kind of mind that gap and just kind of not cruise for sure, but not push, because that's where one little in these cars, one little curb and you're off the track. So
Oh yeah.
uh, they're very, very touchy.
Well, we're gonna calculate the points here pretty quick, but I talked about this. You'll notice on the broadcast if you get the chance to go back and watch it. But you are not out of the conversation by any means for maybe making a run at that final podium spot.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
I'm surprised. I have not had a good series so far. Motegi, hit a cone and had a little bit of stuff and had to give up a couple spots. But that's good news. I know a second will be good. But I know Miguel had internet connection, and he probably would have beat me, or definitely would have beat me. So hey, luck helps.
Yeah, it does. And Miguel's unfortunately, was dominant last season, had a lot of wins. He's had bad luck this season as well. But there's a bunch of you that are, one of the guys on the podium had to miss today, so he's going to drop down. And Tristan Martz had a tough race, and so yourself, Brian Sabelski, James Andrew, all you guys are kind of bunched up there, and there's some nice stuff to take home for whoever even though Michael kind of is looking pretty much in the catbird seat. There's still prize money from CMS and Penguin and bragging rights and something to shoot for with those podium spots. So hopefully you can make the last couple of races.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, should be there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, Mark, I know we'll see a lot of you, man, at Spa here. You and I will be in a car next weekend together here.
Yeah, actually, I just saw the practice session open up a second ago, and so I started kind of doing a little setup work. So I'll be in that practice session here in a little bit.
Sounds great, and you'll have to share that anything you do on that with me. I'll try to jump in myself at some point, and then we'll have the 24 hours of Spa, so you'll be in that too, and a good way to start it out today. So just build upon it.
Yeah. I guess I got 3 weeks of Spa here, so it's a fun track though.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hey, good luck. The rest of the races, and I know you and I will be running together, so I want you to do well, and you want me to do well.
Yeah, right. No doubt.
Yeah, and have a good rest of your day, buddy.
Yeah, you too. Thanks a lot. See ya.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, that was our top two. Unfortunately, James Andrew was unable to stop by for a visit. It is a little bit different time for him in the UK, but that is okay. So we'll go ahead and wrap this one up from Spa, and I will get off the air here. But again, a huge thanks to all of the competitors. Thanks to the two guys for stopping by and talking to us. And we will be back here in 3 weeks. As we come back for a standalone event at Road America. And then just a week after that, we will wrap up the season with the final round at Watkins Glen on August 6th. So I'm really eager to get the points calculated here in this series and see kind of what they look like and who's got that shot at those last podium spots. But until then, we will see you on the track. Take a look at cmsracing.com. All sorts of stuff for you to get involved with us here, and hope everybody has a great rest of your Sunday. Cheers.